So, good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Perrin. I am the CEO of is initially management for the media, especially in European media. It's not always a good sound involved. I can tell you from experience, it is a country that has a vision. It's got great talent. It's got a PS that actually has flown to Europe because there is opportunity and he's going to show you what opportunities are involved and to show you what we can do in this country. And on top of that, we've got our talented people is from Zimbabwe, but actually was done with the University of South Africa. But he's going to explain to you what it takes to be innovative, where to move, and how to face the system. So I would like you to welcome to the and let's start. Okay, we're not moving on. Okay, so just for a small introduction, because I need glasses. So, Funwant Tegura, you're the permanent secretary for higher education, tertiary education, innovation, science, and technology. Right. You're one of those people that have been working with the government on the vision of innovation. How do you industrialize it? And how do you turn education in a way, innovation into industries? And how do you do that as a government? And how do you work with those policies? And what have you done to make Zimbabwe really interesting today, also for the investors, the young people, and everything else?
Thank you very much. I think for the government, secretary. And one of the key things that we have done as the government of Zimbabwe is the transformation of our education system. From education that was meant to just make a student be able to grasp knowledge with this voluntary education that produces goods and services. We have adopted innovation and industrialization as two additional pillars to the three normal pillars of education. And take what we now produce as education 5.0. So it's an education where we expect young people to innovate. We expect young people to produce goods and services where they are in college. We expect lecturers also to make sure that innovation industrialists are key pillars in what we do. And to make that happen, we have had to transform our acts, depending on planning and development act, to make sure that it takes in innovation and industrialization. We've also transformed the University Acts to make sure that happens. And then we have also built innovation hubs across our universities in Zimbabwe. We have improved the digital infrastructure and the physical infrastructure towards ensuring that our students get information and industrialize.
Thank you very much. Now we have here two vice chancellors, one of the founding university of Zimbabwe, Paul and Eddie, who is from the Neuro University, which is the University for Science and Technology. Both of you have been transforming your universities to create talent and to see where how we can fill that gap and how we can make students in a way into entrepreneurs. And I've seen a lot of things on your stands, on the stands. You should go actually to the stands. It's really interesting to see what's going on. Maybe you can give me some ideas on how to, and you take your turns. Maybe you go first. As a founding university, you start first. What kind of bold decisions needed to be made in your universities? How did you transform this to get into this innovative space as a university?
Thank you very much. My name is Paul Matubo. I'm the Vice Chancellor of the University of Zimbabwe. I think I would want to just start by saying it's an architecture, it's a design. The University of Zimbabwe is about 70 years old. The country independent Zimbabwe is about 7 years old. So what tradition do we maintain? We have to maintain the tradition for the first 47-year-old independence of Zimbabwe. So it took us a reimagining, designing afresh what the aspirations of the independent Zimbabwe is. This is what came with the transformation. So we had to transform first by putting up a new design, the architecture inspired by the heritage-based education 5.0, ground that into our own philosophy of the university. The tenets for running the university were there, which typifies any investor everyone. But what it represents, it says in its architecture, in its design, had to change, including its programs, its regulations, and also what it is meant to deliver. So we started graduating startups, IPs, goods and services that the PS was talking about. And that then marked the start of a new revolution where innovation takes center stage.
How about yourself?
Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Eddie Manje, the Vice Chancellor of Bengal University of Science and Education. There has been a transformation in the education system. As Professor Tabura indicated, first thing was the policy by governments, which clearly indicated that they ought to be deliberate move from just having publications and research to goods and services. Once that policy given funds to support innovative projects, and our students have done very well. Last year, they were in the finals of first connected in Thailand, where they had to win the finals with Canada, and so they've come out with innovations that can be scaled into startups. But basically, it's providing opportunities. And once we've created opportunities, financial support, things will fall into place. So the architecture can also with the relationship to even the programs, the curriculum. We worked on the curriculum to ensure that the curriculum also speaks to industry. And there is a lot of engagement with industry in our programs.
Zimbabwe growing from one brand. Zimbabwe growing from one brand, everything else. And you said, can you tell us what you've taken with you from this education and everything else from Zimbabwe? You left, so you went to South Africa, so the conditions may not have been there at the time for you. Do you think that today, innovation in your case would be interesting also for a country like Zimbabwe?
Yes, most definitely. So I started on this and my first semester is actually which is a bit business and I really got to find society. And I think just being able to create like that's not partnerships with and when we then go on AI, again, we didn't actually business about where I decided to partners because we needed to have the infrastructure, the resources, the meeting the needs that or to have the expertise that we need. So within the medical system development, they assisted us in starting to bring out of our guidelines, which we have now expanded from our manufacturing to like African languages to over 200 languages that now we offer on the. So I think one thing that is really to know is that they really want founders and entrepreneurs starting with infrastructure, good relationships, good advisors that can help us bring bills, something that's something that
Can you explain a little bit of what you're doing? Bumble AI. I think it's really interesting to you.
Great. So at Bumble AI, we train AI models to understand African languages. We've got over 200 African languages trained with the African continent. text and speech. So if you have a product or solution that you want to work in both Nigeria, in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, in Cote d'Ivoire, you can use our technology and our API to do that overnight.
Thank you very much. And just out of curiosity, and maybe this is something you think, why did you set this up?
I set this business up because it's extremely important for Africa to own its own technology, its own data, and also be able to choose and a participant in the full industry launch. There are global models out there, but they are not representative of African contexts, languages, and realities. And our work is making sure that we bridge that gap.
Thank you very much. Now, there's nothing, we can't do very much without the financial sector, because it's really good to have a good idea. It's really good to have education, but finances is really, it's really the nitty-gritty part. Shepherd Fulgura, you're the CEO, the chief CEO, or actually the group CEO for the ZB Financial Holdings Limited. Can you give a bit of an idea of what you do with innovation, with startups, and how you accompany this movement that is going on at the moment in Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. My name is ZB Financial Holdings. ZB Financial Holdings is into banking and to insurance and also investments. So we're fully fledged financial sector. And we are experts in the commercial world. So we noticed that there was a development in terms of policy that we talked about. We noted that the universities were setting up startups, moved away from services doing research and application, but also getting into the innovation space and starting to make sure that startups can begin at universities. We became interested and worked with the Ministry of Higher Education, Higher and Tertiary Education, during the memorandum of understanding. Where we come is the commercial world. The issues of interest in the innovation for us are the innovations solve the problems. So that's very important. The innovations answering questions. And when those parameters have been satisfied, you find that the investment becomes natural. And what we want to do as ZB Financial Holdings, and what we've been doing, is to make sure that we create a platform and interaction between the commercial and industry, the commercial world and the industry, with the academia, so that there can be that translation with what is happening in university, scaling up into the commercial world, and so that there's an economic impact. We are a fund runner, and we hope that other industry players also join us, make sure that our university learning and the startups that are taking place will be supported, will be invested in, and sustained, and become businesses that can help economic impact.
Thank you very much. Professor Paul, in this case, the University of Zimbabwe has registered startups, build innovation hubs, and things like that. What does it take to make that sustainable, apart from this financial talk? But how do you do that with IPs? IP remains an issue in terms of competence with those. How do you do that within the university, and how do you accompany your students with this?
Thank you very much. I think the first thing that you want to do is to build the right ecosystem with its clear components. The reason why students come to university is to acquire skills and knowledge that give them limited possibilities in terms of navigating life experiences in industry, in business, in society, so that they become part of the solution for society. And to get that, we advance knowledge through research. Research is the method. But we then move a step further and say, do we have evidence-supported creativity? This is what our students can do. They are very intelligent young ladies and men that can be very creative. But if that creativity, which is evidence-based or knowledge-driven, If it does not bring value, economic value, then it's useless. If it brings economic value, it means they are producing a good industry. So what we started doing is to ensure that we organize our ecosystem into research groups that are functional. Every faculty conducts this. Students are linked to societal problems. They should be able to understand what our people want. People in the industry or society or businesses, what they want. So how can they be safe to those people? And this is where it starts. Then we changed our program to what we call programmatic approach to research and innovation. And then programmatic approach to teaching and learning. What that means is if we have coal in the country, if we have oil in the country, if we have gold in the country, then our teaching and learning programs, our research should be aimed on those things that we need and advance knowledge in those respective areas. This is where we can say we have a heritage-based knowledge system.
Thank you very much. Now, and you actually have started implementing this. You showed your phone and the tablets and everything else. Can you give us the kind of road or the pathway that you've taken? Where does this idea come from? What was the real issue, which is still probably an issue? And where do you want to go with this initiative? Because it's a very bold move for Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much, Afro. I think Professor Chifamba mentioned the 5 components of our education system, which we call education 5.0. And I want to zero in on the innovation and industrialization, because the other 3 we know very well. Now, I want to say that innovation is actually the new lens that we have viewed our resources, our heritage, and also to address our societal nation challenges, innovation. So basically, we are very aware that government and the 21st century requires that we bridge the digital divide that is in our nation. So this is a problem that we've realized. We've got a lot of young people, but access to gadgets, to ICT devices has been problematic. We've got secondary schools, dotted around the country, and access to devices was a problem. So what we set out to do, we said we must meet this need, because the education system, as Professor Mapuma has been speaking, it should address real problems, real challenges that are there. And what we are talking about is not only the problem of Zimbabwe, it's actually a problem of Africa. And we believe that the gadgets that we are talking about right now will go in the region. And this is where we need scaling up, and this is where we need investment. So basically, what we've done, we have not only assembled gadgets, but we have software applications that actually are AI-driven, that will assist even students at an early age to understand what quantum physics means in their own language. So we haven't just developed the gadgets, but we've developed software that will enable this. So right now, our gadgets have got 16 languages. And we will go across Africa, except when scaling up. So basically, the problems that exist in our nation of access to devices, we are solving that, because then the prices that we are talking about, this cell phone it's a smartphone, it goes for $80. The tablets that we make go for $75. You would not find an equivalent tablet on the market for such a price. So I think it's fulfilling this need that drives us, and the desire that Africa shouldn't be left behind. Zimbabwe shouldn't be left behind in this particular aspect. And therefore, we have to cover the breadth of Zimbabwe, and we have to go beyond Zimbabwe to distribute this guidance. And we're very happy that around we found some other people who are interested in making sure that they get this guidance. And this is where we require capacitation, investment, and scaling up. But the issue is, we have got a pool of talent in Zimbabwe, and therefore everything that we do is sustainable. People are able to work on this and to build up on what we have, develop software, work on the hardware, and we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shepard, going back to you, because we're going back on the sustainable and on the financial issue, because this initiative is one that really needs supporting, right? So what would be your pitch if you could have lots of investors here? You're the finance guy. So you can explain this very easily. It's easier coming from a finance guy to finance. What would it take a financial person or an investor to come to Zimbabwe and to actually invest in a venture like this? And there are many countries that want to set up assembly lines, computers, and everything else. But actually, Zimbabwe is doing it. It is already working. And so the question is, how do we take this to the next stage? How do we make sure that Zimbabwe not only delivers to Zimbabwe, because there's actually a big market already in Zimbabwe, but there's also South Africa is next to it, Mozambique is not far away, and everything else. There's a lot of traction and a lot of potential in the region to be able to export. So how would you sell this?
Thank you very much. I think because we are bankers, we know how to assess bankable projects. We know how to assess investment structures. So I think the fact that we have seen talent that comes for universities on the basis of the new curricula, as we say, I think that is something that is worth taking notice. We are into profit making, we are into impacting the society and also improving lives. And that's what we do. So on that basis, we are listed companies 75 years old who have found themselves supporting what is going to happen in the future. I think what's important is we have taken the first step to work with universities in that to invite an investor to either work directly with universities or work through us as ZB Financial Holdings. We invested in both the security or protection. And I think first steps would be to test the concept, invest small, see how it goes, and then expand and scale it up. That will be what I would say. And I think the other element I would say is the innovations that are coming up are really solving life issues. So for me, that is the very basis for which investment should come, because it changes societies, it changes in impacts. People direct employment is created, young people are able to live their dreams, young people are able to show their talents and convert that talent into commercial commerce and be able to make a living out of it. So to summarize, I would say we're a financial services group which is listed, so we can trust it, we can address it in the public debate. We've taken the first step because we've seen talent, we've seen innovation that has come up, and I think investors can work through us and with us, or can work with investors directly. I think our composition up here is quite also good for security purposes. The government is here, the investors are here, private sector is here, so that's our vision. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, the final permanent secretary. In terms of innovation, because you can see we have a proud Zimbabwe actually already doing some really interesting and impressive stuff in AI. I see a lot of innovation coming out of this. How many, so in terms of your market, because your market is huge on this, would you say that this is that the government will support in terms of rollout and everything else? Because there's one challenge. You're doing this as a university, as the government to say, we are going to provide computers to all the students, all the teachers, all the schools and everything. It's a whole different ballgame and a whole different financial implication in budget. How does the government look at this?
Thank you very much. I think it's important to realize that the whole concept of transformation for education to bring in innovation was conceptualized by the government at the highest level to say we want an education that will touch the lives of people. And because of that, we find out that all the enabling policies that have been put in place up to today have actually come as a result of the discussions that take place between the government and the universities to say, what can we do to make sure that we continue to innovate, we continue to meet the demands that are there in the economy. And so there is that continuous working together. But also, if you look at the transformation which has taken place in terms of our policies, which have been driven by the government, it was again to enhance the work that the universities are doing. As we speak now, we are now working on what we call the innovation bill. And the innovation bill, basically what it is meant to do is to enhance the work of the universities, to bring in people who want to finance the work that is happening in our universities, and they making sure that they get tax holidays, they get relief from paying tax. We have also made sure that when you are bringing in equipment for research, R&D, that those things get funded duty free. And Zimbabwe have set up also the export processing zones, where there are very favorable policies to help those investors who come in wanting to support our universities. They are able to get a lot of enabling policies that will enhance and ensure that they pay reduced tax or they don't pay any tax anymore. So government at the policy level, we are making sure we are improving what we call the ease of doing business. And that is happening right across the
Thank you very much. So we're actually starting to approach the end of our session. The room here, the room in general, here at Leaf Tech is full of people that would like to invest, would like to understand. And the purpose of this area is really to showcase different countries, different possibilities, different investment opportunities. Now you have to explain it a bit, right? Let's say an investor comes in and wants to pay. What are you as Zimbabwe offering him in return? Why is it that he will invest? And each one of you will have a different reason for this. So what is it they're going to get? You go first, as a lady first.
I think the really interesting thing about this Zimbabwean market is that there's still into the African markets because we're amazing international. So I remember when we started our first work in Zimbabwe, it was very easy for us to validate work because again, people in the country are digital savvy. It's around. It's the detection of the evidence was started with and also we need to build on technology. We get the support within the system. It's a little bit. I think secondly, from an entrepreneur's perspective, what is that way to have connections across the world? So when it comes to the business, it is that way for the investors of investments. Also, when you invest the needs, we invest in the Zimbabwe, and sometimes the European market, and you're able to be actually with to say why the finance country and investments.
Thank you very much. We are saying to the investor out there, come to Zimbabwe. Our universities have produced a lot of IPs. They have produced a lot of prototypes. Come and partner with them to make sure that there is commercialization of these. And we as government will ensure that your investment is protected. We will ensure that you are given tax relief to ensure that you become successful. But we are also giving you a big market if you talk about Africa, 1.4 billion people, you are working on solutions which have greater impact on their people. And we think that any investor who really wants to make money, Africa is the place now where you can make the money. Policies are being put in place. We have a listening government who who you can come and say, what is it you want them to do for you so that you can be more productive in our innovation hubs and industrial parks in collaboration with our investors.
Thank you. Now, Zimbabwe is full of talent. And we are living in a world that's highly dynamic. The technology terrain that we talk about is changing very fast. But we are talking of innovative people and innovative students and the things in the workforce. Basically, the issues that we talk about are indications that we are an innovative people. And basically, our location is also very good. Once you touch base in Zimbabwe, you are able to touch all other African countries. We're in the south there, but you can touch high and low. We are found in various places. We are fast to learn, and we do languages in Zimbabwe. We can do English, French, so many other languages. Basically, we are an open society too. So any investment in Zimbabwe is bound to grow and is bound to be competitive across the globe because of the good education, which is the foundation of innovation and industrialization.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I would say Zimbabwe is positioning itself as a global innovation marketplace. One, because we are knowledge-driven, world literate population, 97% literacy rate, and also powered by education. The biggest investment by individuals, companies, and the government is in education. And becoming an innovation marketplace, you want to offer and maintain there's peace and security. If you want to have a business and you really be at peace with yourself, do it in Zimbabwe. If you want to radiate and go and reach out to all parts of the connectivity, do it in Zimbabwe. If you want to have quality human capital that will save your business, you can do it in Zimbabwe. And therefore, I think if we look at the future of where the tech companies want to be positioned, the new innovative enterprises want to be positioned. Actually, in Africa, it will be one of your hubs that is succeeding.
Thank you. Financially, I would say any investment made in a startup innovations that we've seen so far is one which is going to give you good returns. You're talking about returns double digit. You're talking about net present value, which is positive and hugely so. Then in terms of impact to society, there's a huge opportunity to impact the society. The way in which opportunity is spread across Zimbabwe is massive. So innovation is space, and the few innovations we've seen have made impact. I think we heard from the University in terms of their mobile gadget that is there to solve the problem of productivity and mobility as well in terms of communication. And then thirdly, you will find that when you invest in Zimbabwe, apart from just impact to society, the opportunities that are there are scalable. One, and then number two, they are sustainable. Because with good policy environment, these new startups will actually be able to be scaled up a business for the future that can run on a sustainable basis. So those will be my comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone, for this panel. I hope you have enjoyed this. As you can see, Zim is the place to be. Zim is the place to go. And if you hadn't noticed, because it is not always easy in the media, this is really an opportunity. So there is a symbol stand over there. Go and meet everyone, go and talk, because there's really something to discover. Thank you very much to you all. Enjoy Viva Heck, enjoy Paris.
You can take a picture of that with you of the family.
Thanks. Just small announcements. Our next session will start in around 20 minutes. So let's rest a bit and please come back